Hello and welcome to Where Am I to Go podcast. Today we are in Baker, Montana, which is about as close to the North Dakota border as I think you can get, and it's about straight east of Miles City. And we are here with Melissa at the Baker Creek Museum. This museum is pretty remarkable. They've got some fun things here. We've just kind of taken a little look around. And Melissa is going to tell us about her museum and talk to us about some of the unique things that she has here. Welcome to Where Am I to Go podcast, Melissa.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for doing this, especially on such short notice. A lot of times we're just driving through a town and see something, and finding somebody to do the podcast is kind of rough sometimes, but I appreciate you taking your time today.
Absolutely.
Just as a little side note, this museum has set up a Lego day for kids that have half a day of school or don't have any school or...
So this year our school district went to a 4-day school week, and so most Fridays there is no school. So since they started that, we did a Lego contest in August, kind of got everybody's interest peaked, and then with the Legos we had purchased for that, we do Lego Fridays. So they can come in from 10 to 2, and we have a challenge of the day. They can build that, or they can free build, and then they can leave them on display for a couple of weeks. So it's been going well.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
It looks like you've got a pretty good group of kids coming in. I'm sure there'll be more, and so if there's background noise, everybody just understand that this is the way our podcast goes. We have a lot of background noise at different museums because we're actually walking through instead of sitting down in a conference room where everything's sterile. So anyway, the big attraction here, and as you walk into the museum, you get to your gift shop, you come on into the admissions. What's the cost for this museum?
Free admission. So you can leave a donation.
That's way too much. Free admission. Holy smokes. But their big attraction here at this museum is the world's largest steer.
So yes, literally a big attraction.
A big attraction. Yes, it is.
He's a big boy.
And how much did he weigh?
So he weighed 3,980 pounds. That was his top recorded certified weight, but rumor has it unofficially he weighed up to 4,280.
I was going to say, throw a couple pairs of gloves on his back and you'd get up to 4,000.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing. He is huge too. When you're standing next to him, it's like the biggest cow you've ever seen.
Yep.
And the lady that I was talking to beforehand said that you had him in several different places in the museum, but they reworked him to some degree with some taxidermy, and they've also got his skeleton standing right next to him.
Yeah, so the steer itself lived 15 years, 4 months, and had been on tour all over the U.S. So when the steer died, his owner, Jack Guth, had the hide taxidermied, and then he and a friend of his mounted the bones themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so then his plan was always to take the mount on tour again, and to have the bones and the mount displayed together. So I started here almost 6 years ago, and one of the first things that projects, I guess, that we did after that was to there was a Jen Hall Took in at the Carter County Museum in Ekalaka does taxidermy restoration. She was at that museum at that time. So for Steer Montana's birthday, which is in March 23rd, she came up and we had a little birthday party and gave him a little spa day. So
Steer Montana.
Steer Montana.
His name was Montana.
Yes.
Okay.
So Jack Guth had 3 steers that were over 3,000 pounds. And I think after the first one, he kind of went, wow, I've got a cash cow, so to speak.
There you go.
And so Bulgy was actually the first steer that he took on tour, but Bulgy died. And so then I think he probably went, oh, what's a better, more catchy name if I'm going on tour? That's my guess. Named him Montana, Steer Montana.
And what breed of cow is he?
He is a shorthorn.
Shorthorn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's an impressive creature. And this was quite a few years ago. I mean, does it still hold the record as far as being the largest?
So I have done a little looking online, and it's hard to say. There are some that have been taller. There are some that have been heavier. There's one, I think that's alive, at least recently, somewhere in the U.S. that they haven't been able to weigh, but he could be bigger. So, but in 1920, well, he was born in 23, died in 38, and at that time he was the undisputed champion.
And how did you guys get so lucky as to have him here at this museum?
So funny.
Baker isn't a real big town.
It's not.
But I will say, before we go much further with this, Baker is a cool little town.
Thank you.
We headed south down to the rocks down there.
Medicine Rocks.
Rocks. We were going to try and spend the night there. The campground was full. We came back, found a place to pull off on the side of the road and boondock for the night, and then we came into town, and you have this really nice Bear Lake, right?
Baker Lake.
Baker Lake? Okay, I thought it said Bear something. Anyway, Baker Lake, you've got a nice area there that has a couple of boat ramps and a really nice park. And the town's just laid out nicely. It's a cute little town.
Thanks. I like it too.
And you've got an awesome museum.
Thank you.
But anyway, so how is it that the steer ended up here?
So this steer was born and raised in Fallon County. So he started here. And then Jack Guth, after he had taken it on tour and after he had it mounted and kind of went on tour again, ended up selling the mount to a museum in Billings. And it was on display there for a while. And when that closed down, it ended up in a warehouse. So Bernie Heiser, who owned Heiser's Bar downtown, and was always a big promoter of Baker, found out where the steer was, bought it, brought it back, and then displayed it in the bar. So he was down at Heiser's for a number of years, and then Bernie donated him to the museum. So he's been here since.
Wow. And I was having a discussion with your lady up front about oxens and steers. And oxen are basically steers that have been allowed to grow over 4 years of age.
Okay.
So he would also be considered an oxen for anybody that
You're the
didn't
first
know
person
that
to tell me that. I learned something today.
Well, anyway, yeah, oxen are big when you start thinking about them pulling wagons and a lot of that kind of stuff. But 4,000 pounds, I wonder how much an oxen that weighed 4,000 pounds could pull.
Well, yeah, and he got to the point where he couldn't even pull himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So according to, I've looked through newspapers and stuff, at the end, he was down for a while. Rheumatism is what the newspaper said. I think his legs were like, this is stupid, we're not doing this anymore. And he just stayed down.
That's not good.
Not great, but I think he lived a good life.
And what did he feed him? I saw something about whiskey mash or
that's the
barley
rumor. That's the rumor. I do know, again, from looking through old newspapers, that Jack Guth did have his own whiskey still, because he got into some trouble for that. But yeah, rumor has it that the steers may have eaten the byproduct of that. They may have been eating whiskey mash, so, which may explain why they were so happy too. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, it's just kind of interesting that the one guy was able to raise three different steers, right? Because I thought I saw three
that were over 3,000 pounds, all from the same cow.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, from the same mom?
From the same cow,
the same genetics.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. It really is.
Yeah.
And then as we move through the museum here, we come to a little trapper's cabin. But the thing that's so cool before you get to the trapper's cabin is you have two calves that aren't quite normal. Tell us about your calves.
So we've got two-headed calves. One that's just got two heads and the rest of the body looks pretty normal. The other one has 6 legs and 2 tails. So yeah, and they're both from local ranches. So when they were born, it was just like, well, that's interesting. So they had them mounted and displayed here.
I've seen a couple in different museums, one in different museums, one on display in several different museums.
Sure.
Maybe that's the way I want to term it, if I can get myself around to the proper way of phrasing this. But I've never seen 2 in the same museum. Yeah. And you guys have 2 of them there, along with some shoe equipment, a few saddles, washboards, and some other miscellaneous stuff. And then we come on back and you've got a couple of wagons. You've got a really nice coach, doctor's buggy, a freight wagon, and then a couple of big thrashers. along with some old tractors, Farmall, McCormick Deering, a couple of John Deeres, and quite a few collectible cars. A couple of Model A's, a Model A, a Model T, a Corvair, Ford Econoline pickup, which is a pickup van. I think they sang a song about that a few years ago. I wish I was a pickup van, or maybe it was pickup man.
I mean, that's the
Maybe
way I heard it, but
man.
I kind of like pickup van.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a 62 Econoline. It's not as historic as some of our other things, but a lot of people really like that one.
They're different looking.
Yeah, they are.
And Chevrolet had a Corvair that was similar to that too. It was one of those things in the early 60s, kind of. And then you've got a Packard and a 36 Ford. Okay. Well, this is just one of how many buildings?
We have 6 buildings.
6 buildings. Well, let's go take a look at some of the other ones.
Okay.
Has this got all the bigger displays? Or?
So, well, this is the big stuff. This is the only place big enough for cars and threshers and whatnot. And you mentioned, I was going to say also the cabin that you said, that's a replica of like a homestead shack, a tar paper shack. And that was actually a parade float for Baker's Centennial. It was in the parade.
Really?
They just pulled it down the highway. Wow. Yep. And so then afterwards it came here. It was built from lumber from one of the original downtown buildings. So that's like extra cool.
Yes. And then I didn't mention your fire engine. You've got a really cool looking fire engine, the way it's set up. It's got the pump on the front, but it's got some massive lights.
It does.
On it. It's what, like a 1925?
28.
28. It's got the ladder rack on the side that holds the ladders, and a little bell with a rope that you can ding-a-ling as you're going down the road. Now, do you use any of these for parades, or?
So the coach has been used in the parade several times. This is actually an original Yellowstone coach.
Okay.
So it would have been in the Yellowstone National Park for tours there. Our Lions Club bought it, I think, in the 50s and kind of restored it and used it in parades. And it's been here for a while, but we have a board member, Kurt Williams, who's great with wagons and those kinds of things. So he redid the wheels for us so we could take it down the road again. So the last 2 parades at fair time in August, it's been out there. So he has a friend with a team, and
you guys are lucky. Wheelwrights are really, really hard to come by.
Yeah, and he's great. So
wow.
yeah.
And then the fire engine, does it go on parade too?
It has. It actually it's on loan to us from the fire department, so that's kind of their deal. It's been in the parade, but it's been a few years. It hasn't been since I've been here. So, but maybe one of these days they'll fire it up again and take it down the road.
And it's got some big lights on it. It'd be kind of cool to see those lights lit
It would,
up.
wouldn't it?
They're probably 18-inch round or 14-inch round lights that are mounted to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through the gift shop here and then head on. What building are we going to go to next?
Let's go to jail.
Let's go to jail.
Is it open? Everything's open? Okay.
I'm always intrigued with jails.
That's my favorite line. It's one of them, especially when we have school groups. I'm right, all right, I'm taking you to jail.
Well, they got to appreciate that anyway, right?
Yep, right. This way.
Oh, okay. I thought you were pointing the other way.
I might have been.
Now, the building that we're walking into is the old jail?
It is. It's the original county jail. It was built in 1916.
It almost looks like a courthouse. This is really kind of a majestic type jail, I guess you could say.
It is, and it's the only building in town, in the county, on the National Register of Historic Places.
Now, is this original? As we're walking in, there's an awning that comes out over the top, and they have glass set in mortar, and it's got the blue glass and the brown glass and all the different colors. It's just little triangles on the side of the awning. Wow.
So, yeah, when Fallon County was formed, Ekalaka actually ended up as the first county seat.
Okay.
But then they had not received a plurality of the votes, and there was a revote with some of the other little towns kind of out of the running. It was between Baker and Ekalaka. And right over here, we've got campaign buttons for the Baker and Ekalaka bid for county seat.
Oh, really?
And it was a pretty contentious thing when Baker won. So
is this still a contentious thing?
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so. But
a lot of times those rivalries continue on forever and ever and ever.
Right. Yep. So that was 1915. So it was kind of a let's hurry up and build a courthouse and a jail so nobody's gonna, contest this anymore. Although Ekalaka did take it to court because they thought that there had been bribes happening. And it's my understanding that the judge said, well, yeah, probably, but not enough to sway the outcome. So
election interference was a thing clear back in 1960?
I know, right? There is nothing new under the sun.
Dang. I thought that was all just the last election.
Nope. All that's been around forever. Also, just a side note, when people talk about like social media and how awful it is and how, I'm like, have you read an old newspaper?
Oh, yeah.
Because they say stuff nobody would even dare to say on social media. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's been going on forever. As long as humans have been around.
Absolutely. So this building was built in 16, and the walls are foot thick, hand-poured cement.
Wow.
The bars on the main level were added after it became a museum, but the bars upstairs are original, cemented into those walls. So, and in here, the sheriffs and their families would live on the main level, and then the jail was upstairs.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So you had to drag the prisoner through your house in order to get him upstairs so he could see what items he wanted to steal on the way out?
There's some fun stories that go a little bit like that. There was a separate entrance, so you wouldn't have to take them through the house. But so in 74, I believe they changed the law that you couldn't have a residence in the same building as a jail anymore. And so at that time, this ceased to be the sheriff's residence, and they took the cells out actually and put them in the new jail. But the last family that lived here was the Cameron family. They had 4 kids. And so one of them slept right here with her parents in their room, and one daughter slept in this toy room you'll see over here, and one son slept in this little nook that's kind of about a closet size, and then there's the big steel door that goes upstairs to the jail. And if you go up the stairs, that's where their oldest son slept.
Upstairs with the jail.
Upstairs in what used to be the women's quarters.
Okay.
They didn't have a lot of women, so they would house them elsewhere if they got them. And he slept upstairs. Their ping pong table, as I've heard it, was right in the middle of the open area then. And then there was another steel door to the jail.
Well, so how did the oldest son turn out? I'm sure that after hearing stories on a continual basis from the criminals, that he was probably pretty wise as to how to not do the wrong things when you were doing the wrong things.
All of them turned out lovely.
Oh,
very
good.
Lovely humans. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, but an interesting story. I talked to another guy who had called in. His dad was the sheriff couple decades earlier, and he said when he was a kid, his mom would cook dinner, and whatever they were having, it was his job to take it upstairs and put it through the pass-through for the inmates to eat. So yeah, it was a different time. So
it wasn't, hey honey, I'm bringing home Joe. He just murdered Bob down the street. Let's have dinner before we take him upstairs.
So the Camerons, and I've heard that there were a couple of different sheriff's wives, probably all of them, honestly, that were such good cooks that it wasn't a huge punishment to be staying here. But like the Camerons, when they would go to their grandma's for Christmas dinner, she always asked how many people were in jail because she sent home a plate of Christmas dinner for everybody that was in jail. So
wow.
Yeah. Different times.
And now this is really cool. When you walk in, you see the light bar that was on the sheriff's car in the 1950s and 60s. You've got a couple of old typewriters. That must be a court reporting machine.
Adding machine.
It's an adding machine.
Yep, from the courthouse though.
And then
Yeah.
you've got some old handcuffs, leg shackles. Wow, really cool old sawed-off shotgun.
I always
Really cool
wondered where
old
that came
sawed-off
from, but
shotgun.
my father-in-law was in law enforcement, and he's like, "Oh, that was taken from a criminal."
Oh,
during a case. I was
I
like, "Was
figured
that
that it was
belong to
one
the
that
sheriff?" I don't know.
I figured it was one that the cops carried.
Because it
just
came
in
from the
case.
sheriff's department, and he's
Right.
like, "Yeah, that's where that came from." So,
And you've got a player piano in here. I mean, everything in here is not related to the
No,
jail,
no,
and
no.
it's a display area for
Right.
a lot of different things.
all of our collections are community donated, so that's great. And I've done different programming, and people look at things, and sometimes it's as much the donation tag as it is the artifact itself that spark, memories and interest. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, we've tried to do down here kind of a living area, and then we do have some interpretive posters with information on the sheriffs that lived in the building and their families that lived in the building.
That is so cool. You've got an old Singer treadle sewing machine. You've got, well, two of them. You've got quite a bit of women's craft. No,
Handiwork,
not craft.
kind
It's
of.
not craft even. It was necessity.
Right.
You've got buttons. You've got fabric. You've got an umbrella, but you've got several old patterns. You've got a dress over here that is a crazy quilt dress, is about the only way I can really describe it, with lots of different fabrics that were sewn together.
Yep.
Made really kind of a pretty dress.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Probably Depression era, I'm assuming.
Yep, exactly. Yep,
And
you make do with what you've got, and
really
that
nice
is impressive.
And so a lot of women's necessities as far as keeping the house up and running.
Yep, and then the kitchen. So original, mostly.
Wow.
Some really old linoleum floors, and I have a lot of people walk in and say, "Oh, this looks just like my grandma's kitchen," which makes me happy.
You've
So-
got one of the old refrigerators with the flying saucers on top for the cooling unit. A lot of glassware that's the blue and the purple. You've got a cook stove in here, an old gas cook stove that looks a lot like the old wood cook stoves.
Yep, and that is original.
Sieves and pink countertops. This looks like it was taken right out of 1945 probably.
Mrs. Cameron told me, well, she was Sheriff Cameron's widow. Her name was Dahlman because she did remarry. But anyway, when she was in one time, she said, this flooring was here when we got here. I think it's from the 30s. So, and it's held up well.
It has. I'm a flooring installer.
Oh,
I get to
okay.
see this kind of stuff
Okay. Underneath?
the carpet that was replaced, underneath the carpet replaced, underneath the right. And these old floors just always really intrigue me. They kind of had a tar paper back or a jute back on them. And my grandmother, I can remember her talking back when I was in high school about their Congolium rugs.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was because of the jute backing that it had on it. And they would roll them up every spring and take them out and wash them off.
Oh.
And they kind of just loose laid. Now, this one here, it has cabinets and stuff on top of it, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
you've got some really nice servingware. And yeah, this is just way cool. Lots of different old kitchen utensils.
Yeah, this room over here has old cameras and film projectors, and then some panoramic photos, some of the area. There's a threshing team, there's a community picnic, and there's a lot of the downtown pictures, which are really fun to compare. We just put together a history walk. And so if you go downtown, there are 8 stops, and you can stop at the sign, scan a QR code, and it will bring up 3 or 4 different buildings that you can see from that point. And then when you click on those, it will compare a now and before picture of those buildings.
How cool is that?
It was really fun to put together. So, and it's a work in progress. We're really hoping as people do it that the community will get a hold of us with more photos and more stories and more information so that we have somewhere to record that.
This is a really interesting picture. It's a photo of the Fallon County boys leaving for the service in July 1918. there must be, what, 600, 700 people standing out here,
Yep,
all kind of lined up in front of the town.
It's right at the four-way stop.
It's kind of a whole town picture. Everybody in town was there.
Yep, that was a big deal. We have pictures of them too down at the depot when they were getting on the train. They had a band and everything down there to see the boys off. Yep.
And then I love these old pictures. You've got a couple of them here that are, they're probably 3 foot long and only 14, 15 inches tall. But you've got one of horse teams pulling plows with a Model T in the background. And then you've got another one with 3 or 4 Model T cars, along with horse teams pulling hay racks and cows, and it's just really cool when you're at that point in time where you see the cars and the oxen or the horse teams or whatever, and and a lot of times I've seen them with a train in there too, and you're going,
sure.
Oh yeah, it's all happening right then.
Right.
I haven't seen many with an airplane in it though.
Yeah,
even though the airplanes were there at that time in 1918.
I suppose. Not so much here maybe, but yeah.
So, and then you've got a washroom set up with several old washing machine, wringer washers, old ironing boards, some old irons, copper wash pots, washboards.
Yeah, some of those my husband remembers his grandma using. So every time I complain every time I complain about doing laundry, he's like, the washing machine does all the work.
You know, though,
but it's true.
we moved to a place that didn't have water when my kids were young, and we had a wringer washer. And my wife had a really hard time wanting to get a regular washer.
Really?
Because the wringer washer cleaned so much better.
Sure.
You know, if it was dirty, you ran it back through the wringer and hung it up on the line, and as it'd take her all day to do the wash instead of throwing it in and just leaving. But at the same time, she always said that it was a better cleaning.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Then you've got a doll display.
Yeah, that is all from one lady, Alvina. She never had a doll till she was a grandma.
Oh, no.
She bought one for a nickel at a garage sale and kind of snowballed from there. People donated them. She went dumpster diving. They went to estate sales and she fixed them all up, ended up with hundreds of them. So we got a small portion after she passed. So
wow.
It's a neat
This is a neat
tribute.
display. You've got a lot of the porcelain dolls and some teddy bears. Yeah. This is cool.
Yeah, so there's our Nickelodeon from the Willard Hall, which there was a lot of little communities out in the county. This one's just south of us between Baker and Ekalaka. And you can see the Willard Hall in that panoramic photo up there. That was at a baseball game. There used to be a lot of community baseball teams as well. So the hall is on its last leg. It's coming down soon. But yeah, it's fun to have. This used to sit out there for dances and such.
Okay, so. And the Rockaola is a jukebox that's an upright jukebox, and it probably played 78 records, the 78 speed.
Probably. I haven't tried it.
Really? You haven't plugged it in to see what it does?
I do not want to be the one whose watch it was when the museum burned down. I'm not going to plug it in.
Turn your back. I'll plug it in and we'll see what it does.
I'm still on duty. So here's the door.
You're still on duty.
Here's the door.
Oh, for the jail.
The big steel door between the house and the jail. So this right here is where the outside entrance would have been.
Okay.
So you could come in through this way. And then there's the stairs.
And then you've got a Girl Scout and Boy Scout uniform and patches.
Yeah, we put in that little cubby there where that entry was.
We got a nice iron rail going up the stairs.
So this area right here where we have our dress shop set up is where the women's quarters was. So there weren't any cells in there, but they could house up to 4 women. But this is the room where the Cameron's oldest son slept. And this is the area right here where the ping pong table was. And there's the pass-through right there to be able to pass through the food. The food, yeah.
And how many cells were up here?
So we've got a photo of the cells right here when they took them out, but there were 4 cells with 4 bunks each. So this is actually Sheriff Terry Cameron here and his brother-in-law kind of showing how the system worked a little bit.
So you could have 16 prisoners in here
I
at
doubt
one
that
time.
there were ever that many, but you could.
Okay. Well, yeah, things were a lot better back then, kind of like we were talking about with the newspaper and stuff. Everything was peaches and cream.
Sure, right.
And here in the room that you said the oldest son slept in, you've got a very nice display of women and men's clothing, some beautiful dresses. Just fashion wear from probably, the early 1900s?
Yeah, this one is late 1800s, 1880.
Is it really that old?
It is that old, yep. So that belonged to a family member or someone who was here. We didn't really have a lot of people here until 1908 when the railroad went through.
Okay.
And that's when the homesteaders started coming out. So before that, it was open range. So we had cattle herds and sheep and whatnot out here. But that's when people started homesteading.
A lot of really fancy hats and parasols and fans and just some really cool stuff. I love this display. The way you guys have it displayed is just fantastic.
Thank you.
And with all those women, you only got one guy standing in here. I bet he feels pretty dang lucky.
Right? He's a lucky
But he's
guy.
not even wearing prison clothes. He's wearing a tuxedo.
I know. It would be more fun that way. Maybe we'll have to get one of those. So this is our little parlor setup. So at 1920s type, that we have a sofa and the parlor chair and restored little
Potbelly stove.
Yep, that's the word.
There you go.
And the pump organ, some other instruments.
And an old
Switchboard. Yep, that one's staying there forever. It's
They're
really,
heavy.
really heavy. So here's where the steel door would have been between this part and the jail. So right inside the door is where the levers would have been to open the cells and whatnot.
Okay.
There was a hallway and then the 4 cells down the middle.
And this really isn't all that big. This room is probably 15 foot wide and 26 foot long. And so you would have had 4 cells with 4 prisoners each in it, if you had that many bad people at one point in time. Right.
So, but yes, we've got it set up as mostly military displays right now. So these uniforms and photos and whatnot all belong to community members.
You've got a lot of uniforms in here, and this is just the opposite. You've got, 8 guys in here, and then there's only one lady.
I know, our one little Navy wave there.
That what happened is the guys got shipped off to the military, so all that was left was women for the other display.
Yes, I believe that's how that went down.
Really cool uniforms. A lot of different styles of uniforms. I mean, you see in a lot of military museums even, you see the dress uniform and the field uniform, but you've got uniforms that are more than dress or field. I'm not really sure what the story is behind all of them, but lots of different styles here.
Yeah, there is. This is one room that we've been kind of itching to dig into a little bit more and find out some of the stories behind things, but we've had some other things that needed to be prioritized. This was a really, really nice looking display when I started, so it's going to be one of the last ones to get updated. But
and it still is a really nice display.
Thank you.
This is, you've got this museum displayed very nicely. There's lots of room, and the way the cases are set up and stuff is just fantastic. This is great.
And this is new. We had, when our Eastern Star chapter closed down, we got some things. So these banners here are from the town of Ollie, which is a little ghost town up to the north, from their Independent Order of Oddfellows.
Okay.
And yeah, there's some Masons things and our Knights Templar uniform, and so that's kind of
cool.
a new addition.
Okay. So now where do we go?
We could go to our block building.
Block building?
It's made out of cement blocks.
Oh, I was thinking it was a whole block big.
No. I'm super creative with names, so made of equals the name of the building. Just like the building across the street is the metal building. It's made of metal.
Okay.
So.
And this one's the jail
This
building.
is the jail.
Yeah.
So out here, we've got a fantastic mural painted on the side of this building.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
How did I walk in here? I was too busy paying attention to the glass.
Yeah. So you'll notice the sidewalk
Wow.
looks like it runs right into the train. There is actually a door in the train, but yeah, there's cattle represented and farming, and we've got the bison out on the range, and then of course the iron horse coming through. And then around the corner there's dinosaurs as well. So
wow, that is an awesome mural.
Yeah, there's a guy in Branson, Missouri that does that. He's done a few murals around town.
Oh, really?
Yep. So
wow, he comes all the way from Bronson?
He does.
Or he lives here also?
Nope. He comes up. There was a community member that made a connection, and he came up and he's done the work. Here's where he signed it. Rain Klotfelter. Americasmuralist.com.
Okay, and now this is where things get a little bit strange. I'm looking at the sidewalk and I'm thinking we're going around the back side of the building, but instead we're walking right into the works of the train.
Yes.
The door is part of the mural, and it is, I would say, pretty much concealed.
It is.
We're gonna lose Linda.
Oh. She won't know where we are.
She's not going to see the door because you don't see the door.
I can prop it open. That's why there's this.
Here she comes.
Okay.
We're doing okay.
Like there's this big piece of petrified wood here, and that's what it's for.
Let me just get Linda's impression of this. Did you see the mural?
Yes, I took it from the picture window up there.
Okay, well, we were afraid you weren't going to see where the door was to this place.
I'm gonna follow the sidewalk.
I know. That's how I tell people when I'm giving them the lay of the land. I'm like, the sidewalk that goes to nowhere. I promise there's a door there.
This is great. I love it.
Okay. Well, let's go through the train here and see.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
So we have some indigenous artifacts here, and these are all mostly things I should say, that have been found out on the prairie. So you've got your points there, and hammers and tools, whatnot. Some bison horn that were found out. So this was kind of set up to look like a trading post at one time. So that's why we've got the furs and the lanterns and the.
Got a really nice, that's coonskin coat, right?
I'm not sure what that is.
It looks like raccoon tails.
Definitely pieced together.
It looks like raccoon.
Yeah.
Well, and then, but what's
I bet it was warm.
What's the collar? The collar doesn't look, looks kind of woolly somehow or another.
Right.
Anyway, interesting coat.
It could be about anything. So,
and you've got some paleontology, some dinosaur bones.
We do have some fossils. That's not my area of expertise. If you want to know about those, you go to Carter County Museum in Ekalaka because they're fabulous. And then we've got mostly some business displays. So businesses from around town, like these are all Radisky radios.
And we're talking old radios. These things are really cool. And this came out of a local shop?
Yep.
And you've got some old telephones, some old insulators.
And a phone booth.
A phone booth. Believe it or not, I have a phone booth.
Do you? That's so fun. This came from Heiser's. The kids, the first time I had it in here, and I had kids in here, they're like, is that for timeout? I was like, well, it could be, I guess.
I spent a lot of time in phone booths when I was a kid.
Right.
But we're building a clubhouse at our campground that we're in the process of building, and it's 2-story.
Okay.
We're going to have living quarters upstairs and the clubhouse downstairs. And I bought a phone booth to put on forks from a forklift to be able to raise and lower for an elevator.
Oh, how fun is that?
So the phone booth is going to become an elevator.
That sounds amazing. So yes, here's our Heiser's poker table. We have a couple of little switchboards from hotels. Here's our railroad stuff. This is on loan from Myron Williams, who's over in Marmarth, across the border, but worked for the railroad. And I believe his dad did as well. So we've got some Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Paul, things there. And then this is one of my favorite photos. This is Baker Lake right up here.
Okay.
So as you can see, there's 3 guys on horses, and then there's pasture and cows.
Right.
So that's what it looked like before it was a lake.
Okay, so the lake is man-made.
The lake is man-made. It was made by the railroad.
Oh,
so
okay.
there
For water for their steam engines?
Yes. So there were natural springs there. So they were like, hey, that's a great place. We'll make a lake there. Interestingly enough, in a few years back, we had an F3 tornado come through town and it dumped a bunch of debris in the lake. So it was a good time to take everything out. So they drained the lake, they dredged it. They didn't find any evidence of springs at that point, so whether they had silted in or whatever, but it's a fabulous facility now. They stock it with fish, and it's a really great asset to the community. But it didn't work out so great for the railroad. Turns out the water's really alkaline, and it kind of corroded their machines. So they abandoned it. It was the Baker Women's Club in the 1950s who started a campaign to get the railroad to sell the lake. So the county now owns the lake.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it's a good sized lake.
It is
really,
decent, yeah.
It's really pretty nice size.
Yeah.
And it's pretty well stocked with fish and stuff?
Yep. So swimming, fishing, boating, yeah.
What a fantastic resource
It really
for the
is.
community.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, beaches, docks, like you mentioned, it's a nice spot.
Then you've got some old film equipment.
Yes, from the drive-in.
From the drive-in.
From the drive-in theater. Yeah,
Don't you wish there were still drive-ins?
I know.
So
it
that
would
you
be
could come
super
home
fun.
after sleeping through a movie at 2:00 in the morning.
Right. It closed in 1994. My husband and I did go on dates to the drive-in for a couple years.
There's still one open in Powell, Wyoming, which is about 60 miles from us.
Yeah.
But that drive home for 60 miles at midnight or whatever, I just don't do it so well anymore.
I think it was during COVID. They got a big screen out at the fairgrounds and did a drive-in movie, and that was
cool.
That was fun. It was Christmas time, if I remember right, but it was fun just to take the kids. I don't think they enjoyed it as much as we were nostalgic about it, but I thought it was fun.
It's sad that we've lost community the way that we have.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys have a community that actually tries to pull together and do some different things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see that, but it's so hard to get people to leave that dang television set.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
go
just
someplace.
as bad as anybody
I say
else.
television.
I sit in the recliner with my cat. It's hard for me to leave my cat.
And the phone, I mean, everybody's walking around with their heads down in their phones too. But as I'm standing here recording this on
your phone.
my phone.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the convenience that's going to destroy it.
Right. So, this is this little display right here is a lot of like advertising things from local businesses. So that's kind of fun to look through.
You've got a watch repair shop.
From Groshon's Jewelry.
And a couple of one-armed bandits. Yeah.
So our little, that's our oddities. We've got an elephant foot.
Oh.
We've got a bat. We've got 3 rattlesnakes in resin. Rattles. This is a jar of grasshoppers.
Everybody needs some of those.
I know. There's 1,830 grasshoppers in there.
How many grasshopper legs are there then?
Oh my gosh. So it's starting to deteriorate a little bit. Like the level is lower. I think the legs are separating, and it's kind of grasshopper parts mostly now. But this was from, let me look at the thing, 1938. And these grasshoppers were all collected from one shock of rye. So it was in the barn, all up in the loft. And when they took it down that winter, that's how many grasshoppers were in it.
Holy
one shock.
smokes!
I know, it was bad.
Well, so as they deteriorate, does the protein level stay the same, or do you lose protein?
You know what? My sister-in-law is the science teacher. Maybe I'll mention that to her. We can do a little study on the grasshoppers. She's been great for collaboration. We have a lot of collaboration with the schools, so that's nice. But yeah, that's something I hadn't thought to test.
And the razor display is pretty cool. From the old straight razors all the way up to electric razors that were probably 1960s, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. And some of those are also advertising. Like one is from the Fallon County Times. It was,
okay.
Yeah, here's a razor.
And then you got an old beauty shop.
Yes.
It's not a barber shop. Maybe it's a barber shop. But
it's both. It's everything.
But they used to be separate. You used to go to the barber shop and do man talk, and the women would come home and tell their husbands everything that was going on in town from the gossip shop.
So
I'm sure that the gossip shop was just as strong in the barber shop. So.
right. Now
But we didn't claim that.
Now they meet for coffee instead of going to the barber shop. But yeah. So our little curling machine back there, that one's a fun one. So
That should actually be displayed in the jail and tell people that it's the electric confession machine.
It used to be. It
did it?
actually was. Yeah, and we didn't look at that. There's a little closet that they've cut the wall with plexiglass there so you can see in it. And we've got a sheriff in there now, a sheriff. But that used to be in there with a mannequin sitting underneath it with her hair in the rollers. And so what's great about that is like when you come in, say to open up or you go to close up, you have to walk by that every time because it's right by the door. So yeah, Medusa and I had a few encounters.
I can't even imagine going into a shop and saying, yeah, I want my hair curled. I want to sit underneath this electric device and have you plug that in with wet hair.
I had a lady tell me, she's like, I used one of those, this scar on my neck right here, that's from one of those. Also, I was told that's where the term pocket curl comes from because they burn off entire curls and the hairdresser just slip it in her pocket. That's what I heard.
That's too funny. That very well could be true. And then you've got a dairy display. This is a nice dairy display. You've got several different styles of butter churns. Some old jars. You've got a you've got a cream separator, maybe two cream. What's this machine? This is a centrifugal. It's got this is to fill the jars.
Yep.
Okay, so you've got a big tub on top that you pour your milk into, and then it comes in and fills up the jars and then caps them for when you used to have the milkman that came around and set it on your porch in glass jars. And then you've got a automatic milking machine and an ice cream maker. This is really cool. You see, we go to so many different museums, county museums and stuff, and you see one or two of these items, but you've got it displayed as if this was a dairy or if it was a military uniform, whatever. It's displayed differently than how so many museums are, and I like it.
Oh, good. I was like, because that's how my brain works, so that's why it is the way it is. I mean, that's how we've continued to curate it that way, I guess.
And a lot of museums have it that way, but they don't have quite your displays are open and they're also full. I don't know how to really describe what I'm trying to say here, but it's really nice. And then you've got your grocery store display. Again, I've been into a lot of museums that had maybe a lot more grocery stuff, but this is enough to look at and it's displayed very nicely.
And again, the nostalgia of like the community members. I had one guy come in, so here's our medical display over here. His dad was a doctor, so he looked at that. You know, he hadn't been to town for years. He looked at the medical stuff and we talked a little bit and we walked over here and there's a picture of Mr. Lacrosse and he got teary. He said, I worked for him. He was the best guy.
Really?
He was so good to me. Yeah, so that's kind of cool to hear those kind of stories.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of the things I like about doing the podcast. We don't do video or whatever, but I get to talk to someone like yourself who knows some of these backstories, and somebody just walking through the museum doesn't get that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
This is fantastic. Boy, this medical display is
So this
great.
right here is our Lawler Drug display. Lawler Drug was one of the first drug stores. In fact, if you go to the coffee house downtown, that's where the drug store was.
Okay.
So all of these meds that are on display here are from there. And I tell you what, if you ever want to go down the rabbit hole, that's a fun place to do it.
Oh, I'll bet.
Like, why?
Well,
Why did we have, desiccated ovarian residue?
Yeah. There's a lot of real interesting things here. Now, of course, it was a compounding pharmacy also, right? Where they compounded their own drugs, or
That's a great question. I've never had anyone ask me that.
okay.
I'll have to ask Dr.
Because
Lawler.
I think back in the old days, they used to mix up everything with their
Oh, the mortar and pestle,
mortar and
which we do
pestle,
have
and-
one of those. Yeah.
And they had all their different compounds. They had sulfur and magnesium or whatever, and they would mix all those together and create their own compounds.
That makes sense.
But a lot of this stuff looks
Yeah.
like it's...
I don't know that, but I do know you could buy veterinary supplies there at one time. So it was all in the same place. They do have the record of receipts and sales of intoxicating liquors. So during Prohibition, if you needed to buy medicinal liquor.
And then feed the mash to your steer.
No, that's only if you make it yourself.
that's if
You could buy it for medicine. I don't know that the stuff they were making at home was medicinal. It may have been the opposite from some of the stories I've heard. The white lightning.
Wasn't quite as medicinal as it was supposed to be, huh? And then a nice tool display.
Yeah, L Price Hardware Store. So downtown again, we have a nice little pocket park, the L Price Park, and that's where the original hardware store was. There's some photos here of the inside of it. This little stove right here was kind of the gathering place for the community. That's where, before there was the barber probably, you go in there and visit. So here it is when it was built in 1910. So the building had to come down, but there's a nice little pocket park there to remember the Price family. They did a lot for the area.
Actually, the hardware store, I think, is still the gathering place, because every time I go into one, it takes me an hour to get back out because I see all my friends or one of my friends or whatever the case is, and have to catch up because I haven't seen him in 6 months. And
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
This is really a cool place. And then
Thanks.
up above, you have
Yes.
all kinds of different appliances and heaters and
And some
mailboxes
which
from
are
the
fun.
post office.
Post offices.
Yeah.
From several of the
okay.
small community ones. As the post offices closed down. So like Willard Post Office was in the operation until the 90s with a postmaster. And then when in the 90s, my in-laws built onto their house and took it on as a contract postal unit.
Okay.
So the boxes are in their house now. But a lot of places didn't, the post office closed down, and it was kind of the end symbolically, I guess, of some of the little communities.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Then it's getting worse now. Our mail leaves our post office, has to go 200 miles to the next post office before it gets processed to come back to our post office to be delivered in your box. And I'm trying to figure out what sense that makes.
I know. Yeah, you mentioned we're so close to the North Dakota border. What I've heard is our mail goes to Billings, which is 3.5 hours, and then goes to Bismarck, which is 3.5 hours the other way, and then comes. So if you're mailing something to Marmarth, which is just 18 miles, that's the route. That's what I've heard anyway.
Wow.
So
It's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing to save money.
Right, there's that.
So
I'm sure it simplifies things for somebody, but
And where are we going next?
So we can run over here. We have two little homestead buildings, and then the other building we have is our schoolhouse back behind here. I don't know how much time we have.
Well, we're doing fine. I didn't know if we had any more concealed doors, and I didn't want Linda to get lost.
Right. No. We'll run over here to the Forrest Duffield Museum. So this was brought in the 70s. Forrest Duffield made a reproduction of his family's homestead shack.
Okay.
And then he kind of made his own museum with his family's belongings. So this is the one spot in the museum that doesn't get, nothing comes in and nothing comes out.
Okay,
it all belongs to the Duffields, or did.
Now, I've got to ask a question. Did they refer to this as the Duffield house or as the Duffield shack? Because you said shack, and I know it's small, but...
Okay, you tell me.
with all the insulation in here and stuff, I'm sure that it was probably more of a shack. That wood stove was going all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. All we have in here is planks Up against the wall, we have a drop leaf table. We've got a little cabinet that houses all of the kitchenware as far as silverware and plates and bowls. A little dresser, a little radio, old radio, trunk, Singer sewing machine, treadle sewing machine, another little cabinet that has a little wash basin on it with a bar of probably homemade soap. Dry sink, I guess is what they call that. You've got your wood stove and a potbelly stove. Okay, so they had both of them going at the same time to keep this little 16 by 20.
When it's 60 below, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
And then you got your little oven on top that's it's kind of a separate little oven that you put on top of your bread warmer to keep bread warm, and several lanterns. They must have really needed to keep it light in here.
Collected those over the years, probably. There's some artwork in here as well that belonged to Jesse Duffield. And then some family photos back there.
Oh, I want that. They've got an old Edison type player that took a cylinder that was kind of a hard cylinder, maybe like the old records, that you put the cylinder on it and you wind it up and it played. And I've seen some that were electric, but I've never seen one that was hand wound. And I have a couple of those cylinders.
Oh, fun.
You have some in that other room too. It'd be fun to see if that thing really played.
Right.
Wow.
Look at the key and everything.
And then you've got another record player that's wind up also that takes the old 78 records.
So this is fun. One of the school programming things that we do at the beginning of the year, the kids read a novel called Little Blog on the Prairie. And so we go into our little prairie homestead shacks and talk about kind of compare and contrast. You know, what do you see in here that's the same as your house? What do you see that's different than your house? So. And
what did they find that's the same?
So like things
dishes,
on the
dishes. They find dishes.
Some very interesting ideas. We have windows. We have curtains. Okay, you know, we have somewhere to eat. I have a bed. Is it in the middle of the living room? Well, no. My favorite though is to start asking them questions like, where's the bathroom? Do you see the bathroom? You know, where do you take a bath? You know, where, right? In the Tar Paper Shack in the metal building, there's a laundry tub. So we talk about doing laundry. In fact, sometimes we do laundry on a washboard and they hang them to dry. And then we talk about where they would take a bath. And like, it's the same place. So, and
you tell them about throwing the baby out with the bath
I do
water?
every time. I'm like, you better hope you're not the youngest, because gross.
Yeah, gross.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
An egg crate.
Yeah.
They must have had a lot of chickens in order to fill up one of those egg crates, because that's got to take, 6-7 dozen eggs, maybe even more.
Yep. It's quite the...
And all of this stuff is original to this house, or to this homestead?
To the family.
To the family.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All belong to the same family. So.
Okay.
Do you leave this open or closed?
Open is fine.
Wow.
And we can just. Yep.
That is just. This is an amazing little house.
Isn't that
or
great?
Shack, whatever we're gonna call it.
Forrest Duffield Museum. That's what the sign says. So.
Okay.
You call it what you want.
Okay.
This is what we call the Lambert house.
No, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm looking around here for where you go to the bathroom, and I don't see the outhouse.
You know what? That would be really fun to put in. So the Tar Paper Shack has a commode with the lid that lifts up and the bucket in it. So I'm like, you know, and a chamber pot. I'm like, so if it's cold.
If you were to do that, just as a suggestion, I would suggest putting the outhouse out here and then putting a refrigeration unit in the toilet seat, so that they could experience what it's like at 40 below, and then putting a heating unit in the other one so they could experience what it was like at 100 above.
I'm not not sure that would pass our safety inspections.
Well, if you put a little bit of frost on there, if you could get them a little bit wet when they sit down, it'll still stick until it gets warm.
The first person with frostbite in the county gets sued. That'd be fun.
Not
on my watch. So this was an original homestead building. If you look, we've got pictures over here of what it looked like out on the prairie. The Lamberts family right here. This was their homestead building. So they originally moved into a dugout and then built this house. And it's filled with kind of what's left, you know. So we've got some kitchen things here. We've got some other, you know, some trunks and dressers, and some family photos as well. So the Lamberts had 9 kids, and so that's kind of my big ta-da for the kids. I'm like 11 people.
Wow.
11 people.
And this is really interesting. I want to point out a couple of items in here. You've got a baby chair that has leg notches in it so that your legs aren't sitting over the edge of the seat and would probably be a lot more comfortable for a little kid.
Yeah.
I've never seen one with leg notches like that. You've got an ice box that is really, really cool. It's galvanized. It looks galvanized. It's insulated. And it looks like a pipe that is 3.5, 4 foot tall and probably 18 inches in diameter, has the lid so that you put your ice on top because cold travels down. You put your cold items that you want, your milk, whatever, in the bottom, and the ice drips, the water drips or whatever, and keeps everything cool because cold travels down. But this is like the most unusual ice box I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of the old oak ones.
Yeah, oh sure, yeah.
And that, but I've never seen one quite like this. You've got old drum butter churn. You've got an old wooden washing machine, cream separator, and then a couple of ironing boards. You've got a little ironing board over here that's a double ironing board. It's probably 3 foot long and only 12 inches wide, but it's shaped like an ironing board, but it's double layered. I'm not really sure why the double layering, other than to get it up higher when you're working on sleeves. Sleeves, there you go. You can put your sleeve over it.
You've run an iron before, haven't you?
Well, the normal ironing board, you couldn't get your sleeve in there, but that little one, and elevated the way it is, that makes perfect sense.
I imagine that would work. I don't use an iron.
Did you know that already? Or did you just learn something?
That would have been my guess, but I don't iron, so.
Okay, well.
My kids got those little perler beads, you know, that you put in a pattern and you iron them, and they stick together.
Okay.
When they got them, they were like, Mom, do we have an iron? Yeah, we do. I don't use it, but we have one.
Why would somebody have I mean, nowadays, I remember my next door neighbor's mom, his dad was a milkman. And she used to have one of those big presses.
The mangles?
Is that what they're called?
I think so, yeah.
That you'd run it through and it would be hot and it would press his pants so that they were perfect so he could go deliver milk and yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, if you can't run it through the dryer again and get most of the wrinkles out, then you're probably not going to wear it.
And then in this room you have an old steamer trunk, mantle clocks, umbrella, some pictures of some of the, I'm sure the family that lived here.
Yep, those are from the Lambert family.
An old suitcase, another treadle sewing machine, and a preambulator. What is a preambulator?
They called it a war buggy because it was made from canvas and wood, including the wheels.
And it's a baby buggy.
And it's a baby buggy. Yep. So.
And it's deep. I mean, you could almost have a kid stand up in there and be okay. Then it's got some little springs on it to kind of help cushion the ride, and that is really cool. This is really neat.
Thank you. Where did the kids go? I don't know. We've tried to figure that out too. Like, and that's a question I get from the kids a lot. Like, where did everyone sleep? I'm like, you got me.
Well, you got one bed there with the preambulator. You got the queen bed for mom and dad. You got the steamer trunk for the bad kid.
Right? I'm like,
and
maybe.
if worse comes to worse, they can always go to jail.
Well, yes.
She cooks good.
Right. I don't know how that worked in the 20s, but you know, it would work today.
Okay, so we've been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's building number 6?
So the little white building that's at the back of this open field right here is the Willard School. So we talked about Willard earlier.
Right.
This is the one-room country school that
Now,
was
Linda
out
and I
at
were
Willard.
talking about Willard last night.
Okay.
We were on our way back, and we were talking about how he was a rotten rat of some sort or another. We can't remember exactly what the whole details were.
I don't think I know that story.
Okay, well, Ben and then Willard? Huh. Well, Linda remembers something about a rat named Willard, and for some reason I do too, but I don't have enough recollection to be able to put anything together with it.
Well, this Willard was named after Fred Willard Anderson. And a lot of places got their names from, in fact, that's how Baker was named, was after a railroad engineer, A.G. Baker. The little town at Ollie, north of here, I think they had to send in 3 names. Is this okay to crawl through?
Oh, yeah.
You can go through the building, that's how we usually get in, but anyway, they sent in the name Florence, and another name, and then Ollie, which was the name of the postmaster's daughter. And the other names were taken, so Ollie it was.
Oh, that looks vicious.
Oh my goodness.
There's a post out here that is probably 15 foot tall and has chains coming down and has like ladder rungs on it that are about 10 inches wide. And it looks like the top rotates and you can put kids on there and whip them around at high centrifugal force speed. And I'm sure that the doctor's office over there saw more than one kid that came off of that
I'm sure.
death trap.
I'm sure.
They used to
Wow.
come over there and
Can you demonstrate that
Nope.
for me?
Do you notice how it's chained up
I
at the
see how
bottom?
it's chained
yes.
up.
We're, again, safety
Not
committee.
on your watch.
Safety committee.
Yeah.
I'm going to blame it on them.
You've got a great big school bell here. You still ring that every once in a while?
That one is actually locked. They put a lock on it, but we have a little bell that I let the kids ring. So this school was in use from 1916 to 1967. It would have housed grades 1 through 8. And we've kind of got it set up with desks. These desks came from the old high school that burned down in the 60s, and then we've got desks from various other little country schools around. But we have kids that like to come in, and you can see they've got papers here that they were working on when they were in here. So it's kind of fun. And I do the same thing, the compare and contrast, with the kids. Yeah, we have a picture of George Washington and we have a map. And I'm like, where's the water fountain? And they're like, and I'm like, here it is. It's this bucket with this ladle.
That everybody gets
Everybody
to share.
drinks out of the same label, and you should see their faces. Just like, oh.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's why they had good immune systems, right?
exactly.
Yep.
Yep. And everybody took a full week off when chicken pox came around because
Right.
they all had it.
Right, exactly.
You've got just a lot of old school stuff in here, some band jackets and...
I'm pretty sure I wore that one in marching band.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the set
And the
of
Q-tip
scales. You've got a teacher with a couple of kids looking at a book. It almost looks like a song book.
That's a
or
dictionary.
A dictionary.
A ginormous dictionary.
Okay. Then a globe.
Mm-hmm.
And where's their flat Earth? I see the globe, but I don't.
I don't know.
School.
It's an old school.
Okay,
so.
okay. Just bear with me on that one. And then when we came in, I saw something that just clicked with me for some reason. You've got a lithograph machine in here, which had ink on it, and you would put paper in there and turn it, and it would make copies of whatever it was. But the name of the side of the machine says ditto.
Yeah.
And when somebody says something and you say ditto, it means same as.
Right.
And so this was a ditto machine.
This was a ditto machine.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had teachers come in and say, oh, I can smell that in my mind.
Oh, yeah. It had a very distinct smell. And then you got a photo of the old school burning down in 1967.
Yep. So 2 blocks over where the Longfellow School sits now is where the first high school was. You can see a picture of it on this little thing right
There
here.
you go.
So There's a guy that was on the fire department when this burned down, and he comes in and talks to the kids every year about what the high school was like, because he went to school there as well, and then how it burned down. And the
Kind of reminds me of an Alice Cooper song.
yes, I know that one. So
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. You can see where the bell was in the front.
Right.
Carl says he remembers seeing that glow red.
Oh,
like the
really?
whole thing was just glowing, and then it fell all the way to the ground. But it's up at our new high school. It's the Victory Bell. So when the kids win the football game, they get to ring the bell by, I don't know if it's how many points they made or how many they beat them by, but.
Well, cool.
So yeah, it's kind of fun. And a lot of kids don't know that that's where that came from until they, we tell those stories. So it's fun to be able to pass that stuff on.
Yes. And so I guess this pretty much wraps up our tour of all 6 of your buildings.
That's all 6 of them.
This is a fantastic museum. I have really enjoyed myself here. And you've been a lot of fun to podcast with, to be
Thanks.
honest with you.
It's been a good time.
I always finish out my podcasts by saying that the world is full of wonder. People need to get out and explore and have an absolutely wonder-filled day.
Love that.
That was amazing.